Now, the tragic death of Labor Senator Kimberley Kitching is nothing short of shattering, as is the reporting that she alleged she was bullied by fellow Labor Senators Penny Wong, Christina Keneally, and Katie Gallagher. Senator Kitching described them as mean girls. Now, to be fair, the three senators said on Friday in a statement, the allegations of bullying are untrue. Other assertions which have been made are similarly inaccurate. Now, when Anthony Albanese was asked about these alleged mean girls, he all but clutched his pearls.
I find it astonishing that in 2022, I get a question using the term mean girls. I find that extraordinarily disrespectful to describe strong, articulate, principled women like Penny Wong, Katie Gallagher and Christina Keneally. I find it astonishing and a throwback, decades.
Leaving aside the fact that the phrase mean girls was used by Kimberley Kitching herself to describe the women, the term is hardly a throwback. The movie that popularised the term came out in 2004, and the subsequent Mean Girls the musical took to the Broadway stage as recently as 2017. And most pointedly, the reference to workplace mean girls will likely leave a considerable number of women sighing in sad recognition. Despite the cultural perception that men are always responsible for creating hostile workplaces for women, I'd wager you'd be hard-pressed to find a woman who hasn't had a workplace made miserable for her by another woman. Over the last few years, conversations about toxic masculinity have dominated public discourse. The concept even found its way into advertising. Who could forget the notoriously feminist Gillette ad of 2019?
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
It's likely happening here in Bullying as well.
A problem.
We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long.
But what feminists consistently refuse to realise is many of the obstacles women face at work are placed by women. We constantly compete with each other. It begins in the schoolyard and continues into the workplace. And while men and boys will spar with aggressive confrontation, women undermine each other in subtle, toxically feminine ways. And they do it to gain the coveted status of a term first coined in the 1970s by researchers at the University of Michigan, the queen bee.
And evil takes a human form in Regina George.
She's the queen bee, the star.
Now, in a workplace context, the queen bee is usually a woman in a senior position who is cuttingly unhelpful to her female co-workers. She may verbally abuse them, publicly humiliate them, or use the cover of smiling passive aggression to undermine their achievements or chip away at their confidence. If such treatment is ongoing, which it generally is, the queen bee's prey can suffer serious psychological damage. The prey may either wither into obscurity or quit the workplace altogether. But the most important thing to note here is the queen bee does not treat men the same way she treats women. It's known as the rope ladder effect. A woman will climb the ladder to the top, then pull it up after her so no more women can follow. Eventually, the only way for women to work around this queen bee is to join the proverbial hive.
The weird thing about hanging out with Regina was that I could hate her, and at the same time, I still wanted her to like me.
Okay. You have really good eyebrows.
Thanks.
Move.
Same with Gretchen. The meaner Regina was to her, the more Gretchen tried to win Regina back. She knew it was better to be in the plastics, hating life, than to not be in it all.
And in my personal experience, heaven help any worker bee who challenges the mighty queen. For if she does not manage to usurp the throne, she shall surely be damned.
Do you know what everyone says about you? They say that you're a homeschooled jungle freak who's a less hot version of me. Yeah.
Now, despite toxic femininity being prevalent in many workplaces for decades, why do we only see negative messaging about male behaviour at work? From politics to the private sector, men are always pinned as the rotten core of an unhealthy workplace culture. Women, on the other hand, get away with it. Why? Because societally, women are perceived as, dare I say it, children, including and indeed especially by feminist activists. Why else do you think the patriarchy is generally blamed for women being mean to each other at work? While it is of course understandable that women have historically felt like they're competing for limited space at the top, it makes no sense in 2022 to just blame men and their alleged toxic masculinity or unconscious bias for women electing to sabotage their female co-workers. Now, to be clear, I am not accusing any specific individuals of engaging in this kind of conduct. But it is time we put a magnifying glass to women's toxic workplace behaviour and biases the same way we have to men's and purge the sludge. That is the only way to achieve true workplace gender equality.